Some people have money in their account and still feel like they can't spend it. Others spend money almost as soon as they receive it. We usually call one too frugal and the other bad with money. But what if neither of the problem is about money? Money is one of the most emotional things we interact with. Yet, we treat it like a math problem. We track our expenses, we make budgets, we watch financial videos, and while all this information can be incredibly helpful, it does not always change the behavior, because behavior isn't driven by information alone, it's also driven by emotion. Today, I want us to look at money through a therapeutic lens. We don't just inherit money habits, we also inherit money stories. One of the biggest misconceptions is that our financial habits develop in adulthood. While they don't, long before we earned our first paycheck, we were already learning what money meant. As children, we were constantly observing not just what our caregivers said about money, but also how they responded to it emotionally. Did money create constant conflict? Did paying bills bring panic? Did your caregivers become emotionally unavailable when money was tight? Was money something that disappeared easily? Did your caregivers spend impulsively when they were stressed, or did they become extremely fearful of spending anything at all? Children don't just learn financial habits, they also absorb emotional association. Without realizing it, a child might learn money disappears, my needs are expensive, asking for things creates stress, there is never enough, my worth depends on how productive I am. Money makes people selfish, and often these beliefs follow us into adulthood. Scarcity isn't always about your bank account. This is where I think the conversation becomes really important. Scarcity can absolutely be a financial reality. If someone doesn't genuinely have enough resources, that's not a mindset issue, it's a real circumstance. But there are people who have enough to meet their needs and still experience constant fear around spending. Now, that is emotional scarcity. Their bank account says one thing, and their nervous system says another. They buy groceries and immediately feel guilty. They replace something that's broken and panic. They avoid investing in themselves because they are convinced they'll need the money for an emergency. They check their bank account over and over for reassurance. They are not reacting to today's finances, they are reacting to yesterday's emotional experiences. This is because their nervous system hasn't updated yet. Now, let's talk about the opposite pattern. Some people don't struggle to spend, they struggle to stop. And again, this isn't about poor discipline. Sometimes spending becomes emotional regulation, maybe after a difficult day, rejection, loneliness, or even stress. Spending creates something very powerful, like anticipation, a temporary sense of control, or a dopamine release. For a brief moment, the emotional emptiness feels quieter. The purchase isn't solving the underlying need, it is soothing it. The problem is, once the emotional relief fades, the original feeling is still there, along with financial regret and guilt. So the cycle repeats itself. What does it mean to reparent yourself around money? Reparenting yourself means giving yourself what you may not have consistently received growing up. That includes your relationship with money. This means asking yourself, what is this financial behavior trying to protect me from? If you are terrified to spend, maybe your nervous system is trying to protect you from the fear of not having enough. If you spend impulsively, maybe your nervous system is trying to protect you from emotional emptiness, loneliness, or stress. The most important thing is to note that this behavior isn't random. It is trying to meet a need. The question is it meeting that need in a sustainable way? Building a healthier relationship with money isn't just about earning more. It's about helping your nervous system develop a new experience of money. This might look like pausing before making emotional purchases and asking yourself, what am I hoping this will give me emotionally? Practicing intentional spending, on things that support your well being without feeling guilty, reminding yourself that spending on necessities or values isn't the same as being irresponsible, creating budgets that reflect your values rather than your fears, and noticing the emotions that show up when you save, receive, or talk about money. Over time, you're teaching your nervous system that money doesn't have to be associated only with fear, relief, or chaos. It can also be associated with care, stability, and choice. One of the most compassionate things you can do is to stop seeing your financial habits as simply good or bad, because healing your relationship with money isn't just about changing your spending, it's about changing the emotional meaning money has carried throughout your life. And perhaps that's where true financial freedom begins.